Hi, third grade. Miss Keeley here for I think what is going to be our last project of the year, which is really sad. Um, but I want to get right into this. So we are going to be creating some sort of like optical illusion art. So if you look at the screen right here, you can see how you can take a letter and transform it into this kind of spiral optical illusion looking project. So I'm going to upload this to the Google Classroom so you can use this as a reference, or you can just pause this video and use it as a reference, but I'm also going to show you through the steps, okay? So what you are going to need is a white piece of paper, a pencil, and then I like to use Sharpies, so I'm going to choose a black Sharpie, but you can kind of use what you have. Um, so you are going to be drawing a letter, and I will let you pick kind of whatever you want. I pick K for Keely. You could pick a letter from your first name, a letter from your last name. Maybe you do a family member's letter. At this point, you can kind of do what you want. But the thing is, we need to make it a block letter. So, or like a bold, yeah, like block letter. So I'm going to show you. What you're going to do is you are going to, if you don't know how to do a block letter, this is what you're going to do. You can see I just wrote a normal K for Keely. I think I wish I moved it kind of over more into this area, but it's totally fine. And I drew this really lightly. I had to lift this up to the camera in order to show you, but it's very light. And so what you're going to do next is you are going to create kind of like a border around it without touching your letter that you just drew. So I'm going to draw this the top, and I know it's really hard to see, but you'll be able to see it towards the end. Um, and I'm just kind of creating this block um, border around it, almost like the letter that we first drew was like the bones of our letter, and now we're creating kind of this outer skin layer if we want to make that kind of analogy for this. Um, but so now that I have it all one block letter, I'm going to go back and I'm going to erase that inner um, K that I drew. And again, if you already know how to draw a block letter, that's totally fine. So now what we're going to do, if you have a ruler, I would suggest using a ruler for this part. I do not have one at home. You could use like the edge of a book if you wanted to, but I was outside when I was making this video, so I didn't really want to get up and go get one. Or I mean, if you don't want to use a ruler, you really don't need to. But so if you look here, I made a point somewhere where I thought the middle of my K was, or where the middle of the letter, sorry. And so now we're going to start to divide it into pieces. When you're dividing it, you need to make sure that you are dividing it from like one side of a paper to the other, either like from side to side, top to bottom, um, diagonal to diagonal, because we want to have an even number of pieces. So I'll talk to you about that once I get to there, but um, I'm just drawing all my lines and I'm making sure that I pass right through that point that I drew. And you can see my lines are not the best, but that is okay. We're just going to keep going with it. And I'm still adding more because I want to make these tiny little areas. So I keep drawing from one side to another. Um, and then at the very end, so I don't know if I'm going to do one more, but I'm counting and I'm pretty sure I have 14 pieces, like slices. And 14 is an even number, so we're good to go. You just want to make sure that you do not have an odd number. So again, even numbers are like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, up to 20. Um, Odd numbers are like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and so on. But we want to make sure we have an even number so that way when we are skipping over um, to make our optical illusion that it's going to be an even turnout and we won't have the same color be the very same. And you'll be able to see that um, well, I guess you won't be able to see that, but you could always refer back to, or let me show you this. So you can see how it skips from black to orange, black, orange, black, orange. If you have an odd number, it could end with a black piece next to a black piece, and it's not going to look evenly spread out. So that's why you want to make sure you have an even number. If you're really confused by what I mean, feel free to send me an email and I can try to clarify that a little bit more. Or you could always ask a family member to help clarify that for you. And so then the next part of this step is taking something to outline everything and make it really bold. So I'm taking a black Sharpie and I'm just outlining everything that I just drew. So I'm started with my letter and then I'm drawing my dividing lines. Okay, and it's not the neatest. I could have been a little bit more neat. I will be honest with you guys. But the main thing is like coloring it and making sure, which we'll go over next week. All right. So that is it for this week. That should take you a while, so that's why I don't want to give you too much. You do not need to post a picture or email it to me this week, but if you want to, of course, I'd love to see them. Other than that, I will chat with you next week. All right, bye.